All right, folks, welcome back to the Leap of Faith show with your host, Stubbs. We're getting ready to get into our interview with my special guest today, Mr. Franklyn Malone of the 100 Fathers Incorporated. We're going to talk about why fathers need to be in their children's life, how you can get with other men to learn how to be a better father, and also help in the community, and especially help some of the single mothers out here who may be doing it all alone and just need a little bit support. So we're going to introduce to you Mr. Franklyn Malone and his group 100 Fathers Incorporated. They are ordinary men doing extraordinary things. Good day, Mr. Malone.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today, Ms. Stubbs?
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic. I'm glad to be connected with the great work that Leap of Faith is doing. And advocacy is a major part of the fatherhood movement, getting responsible fathers and men to take up the mantle of leadership and to help our young men and our young women. And so that's what the 100 Fathers is all about.
Oh, that's good. It's great to have organizations like yours out in the community. I always say that we have so many things for the women and the young girls, but we need more organizations to encourage and support our men out here because they need that encouragement. They need to be around other men who can uplift them. They need to be around people who can understand what the man is going through and just need that extra support because they have so much to do. So we're going to get ready to get into our interview and let our listeners know more about the 100 Fathers Incorporated organization and how they can support you guys and also get involved. So we're going to start things off with, first of all, just letting them know where did the vision come from to start the 100 Fathers Incorporated organization?
The 100 Fathers came out of a vision of myself and a guy named Tony Duggar. About 8 years ago, we had a conference at Shiloh Baptist Church called the 100 Fathers Conference. It was, in fact, the largest fathers and men's conference the city had ever seen. After that time, I took the name and birthed the organization, the 100 Fathers, with about 13 fathers out of Ward 5. We're men and fathers who came together and said, we got to change the paradigm of how fathers and men are thought about. And we need to be in the schools with our families and showing what's not on TV, that we are real men who love and care for our families and children. So that's where we came from.
Yes, TV can deceive you. It's deceiving a lot of our youth and having them to look at things materialistically and not looking at the other issues in their life. They just want clothes, they want the fashion, they want the flashy things. So it's great to have men like you guys standing up in the community, showing them the way in which to go, which goes into the next question, because a lot of homes do not include a father. I hear so many women, just being honest, I hear some women saying, you know what, I can do it. I don't need a man. They don't need their father in their life. I wish he'd just leave alone. So why is it important that fathers be involved in their children's life?
I am so glad, sister, that you brought that up. First of all, let me say this. We have some strong and able women that work with the 100 Fathers. Our legal counsel, Ms. Christine Green, who works with fathers to get back into the lives of their children. But to answer your question directly, a young man needs to see me to be me. Young men need to emulate and understand a positive man in their life so that they can learn to be responsible, caring, nurturing, and understanding. The 100 Fathers right now is doing boyhood to manhood groups in the D.C. schools. We're training young men on what a man is. And let me tell you, we asked some young men, we said, what is a father? What is a man? One young man said, a man is somebody that makes a baby. We said, let you sit down and understand that we as fathers and men are more than that. We're responsible, we're loving, we're caring, and we want to provide for our children. And so if you have that understanding of what a father and a man is, you're already set up to go to jail, because that's a wrong kind of thinking. That's the pipeline to prison thinking that we're trying to break. So we are about promoting health and wellness, eliminating violence and inappropriate behavior in our youth, and promoting values and character development by leading fathers into the fray of the schools and into the community. I want to point out that we are certified, most of my men are certified, licensed as master trainers. And so not only are we trained with a curriculum that can help men, but we can also help young men. We don't walk into this trying to just help out. We've educated and trained ourselves to be able to leave a legacy for our young men.
You know, I want to hear your opinion on when women keep the father out of the child's life. They're, out of anger or relationship issues, or they're mad that he doesn't want to be with the woman. So now they're using the child as a pawn, and they're saying, well, you can't see this child, or you have to pay me this amount of money to see the child. Explain how that affects the child more than it hurts the dad.
First of all,
and why the child, I want to add, Mr. Malone, I want to add this piece in too. And you can hint along also why love is more important than money. Just go ahead and get into that, because I hear so many women say, if he don't pay me this, he's not going to see the child. Or you may have a dad that wants to see the child, and they may not have all the money to support, but they may say, hey, I want to go to the park today. Or, I just want to be with my child, but I don't want to be with you. And they're saying, well, if you don't want to be with me, you can't be with the child. How does this hurt the child? Because I need women and mothers to hear this.
And, this is one of the reasons why we have some strong women that work with us. There's a woman who was one of the lasting legacies, Miss Rawlings from Alexandria, that works with us, and she has raised 2 sons, but she said, I'm smart enough to know that I'm not a man, and that my young men need a positive man to follow, that I cannot be the mother and the father, I can only be a good mother. But let me give you the real deal. There's the latest research from fathers' involvement from the H&R study. Most studies years before only did studies of the family and never really took into consideration the invaluable contributions that fathers make to children. It's called the H&R Household Education Study. And what it found was that mothers do a great job. However, fathers make a difference in their child's lives. First of all, if they're involved with the child's education, children are more likely to get A's. 70% of juveniles in state-operated institutions come from single-family homes that are fatherless. 63% of youth suicides come from fatherless households. 90% of homeless and runaway children, fatherless homes. 71% of all high school dropouts come from fatherless homes. How do we turn this around? We turn this around by using father figures, mentors, and men of promise who are able to step in for a father who may not be there, but to lead that young man to a life of success. And that's why we have the 100 Fathers, the D.C. Fatherhood Coalition, the Alliance of Concerned Men, the Men on the Move. We operate with about 35 organizations that help to bring our young men back into a trajectory of success.
Yeah, I can see how not having a father in a home, and know some people who it has led to homelessness and, being incarcerated, dropping out of school, and other problems. So I can see where those statistics are coming from. We're getting ready to go into a quick break, folks. Remember, I'm on the line with Mr. Franklyn Malone of the 100 Fathers Incorporated. When we come back, we got some more great questions for him. We're going to get into some more information about the organization and teach you how you can sign up to get involved with them. If you can't get involved, you can at least become a sponsor or make a donation or, just sign your son up maybe. I don't know, but we're going to get some more questions to him and get you his contact information so he can answer your questions and get you involved with the 100 Fathers Incorporated. You're logged on to the Leap of Faith Show. We'll be right back with much more.
The opinions expressed on this radio program by the host, co-host, guest, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Leap of Faith Network or its affiliates.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Leap of Faith Show. It's your host, Stubbs, and my special guest, Mr. Franklyn Malone, on from the 100 Fathers Incorporated. When we left, we were talking about the importance of having a father in the home and the statistics of what can happen when the father isn't in the home. So we're going to keep this interview moving about. And my next question for you, Mr. Malone, is we were talking about the incarceration rate, and to be honest, a lot of our black men are going to prison 5 times the white race. And what I wanted to ask you was, when a man is incarcerated and taken to prison, in how many ways does this destroy the home? And what should a mother now do to get her child, to get help with her child? Because a lot of times you have a home who has the mother and father, but the father may be doing something and he gets incarcerated. It may be for child support for another child. It may be for, selling illegal drugs. It may be for tax evasion or, just anything. What does this mother do now?
I'm going to take your question, and it's a part of the whole. Many people only deal with different parts of this fatherhood pie. There's different pieces that work here. Now, on the reentry side, we work with the Reentry Network, Brother Courtney, Brother Parker. We work with groups that work directly with men who are returning citizens coming back into society. But let me give you the whole picture before I break down the parts of the picture. Here's what the movement looks like. First of all, the 21st century fatherhood movement involves first family, trying to keep family together, teaching about the importance of relationships. Next, there's health. I just went to a conference with SAMHSA, and they said that the United States has already spent $447 billion on the health of men of color over the last 5 years. Then there's prevention. We have to put in programs that's going to prevent our young men from getting incarcerated in the first place. Then there's education. We are in the schools right now with our rites of passage and boyhood to manhood training to let young men know that the education that they get is the power they need for their trajectory to move up in life. Then there's employment. We can have no more programs that train men and don't lead to a job and a career. Then there's incarcerated fathers and reentry. Then there's housing. How can you be a father or a family if you don't have a place to live? Then there's veterans. We got many veterans who have gone off and come back, and their families are in disarray. Then there's also the spiritual and faith-based responsibility of the elders to support us in this movement. Many churches say they want to give you Jesus, but people need something to eat when they need Jesus. They need a job when they need Jesus. They need somebody to help them to navigate everyday life. That's why we train churches with our certified fatherhood facilitator training so that we can do some work on the ground. Then there's the legislative part. Many people don't know it, but it was the 100 fathers who brought into D.C. the law that Marion Barry introduced to the city council, the D.C. Commission for fathers, men, and boys. Herein lies the hope where the city can put funding, programs, services, and support for men, fathers, and boys. And Mayor Bowser is working on that as I speak. And then lastly, legal issues. The 100 Fathers has a group of lawyers. We work with the Honorable Judge Arthur Burnett. We have legal teams that work in the community to help fathers to get back into the lives of their children. That's what keeps children out of jail. Now,
I hear you saying all these organizations and things of that such that you guys are, and services that you provide and ways that you're helping the men. But what do these mothers do now that they have these young boys or girls? You know, not just the boys, but what about the girls, you know, who are lacking their fathers in their lives? What do they do with these girls? Does your organization also assist the single mom with the girls, too?
We have some outstanding speakers and people who work with girls. We got Natalia Palmer. We got Reverend Margie Barnes. We got some outstanding programs. The Right Vision Foundation, they work with us, with the young ladies, because they need the love of a father, but also they need the guidance from women who can get them on the right track. And so we understand that. We do a workshop called Mothers Raising Sons Without Fathers. And we'll be doing one coming up quarterly. And we bring the mothers in and we suggest different things that they need to do to help these young men to get out of, prevent them from getting locked up. We want them to get graduated. And so we try to give them the elements. And these are the elements that all of our children need. They need a commitment to learning, positive values. They need some social competencies. In other words, the young person knows how to plan ahead and has empathy and sensitivity. They need positive identity, not just self-esteem, but self-worth. On the other side, they need support. They need empowerment. They need boundaries and expectations. And they also need a constructive use of time. And that's where the city has to come in and put in services, supports, and opportunities that can help our young people to be something in life. Our major tenets that we understand about working with young men and young women is this. First, if you don't love our children, you ain't going to be able to do nothing with them. You got to have love,
that's right,
connection, engagement, enlightenment, and then you can give them empowerment. That's how we do it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Folks, you're logged on to the Leap of Faith show. I'm on with my special guest, Mr. Franklyn Malone of the 100 Fathers Incorporated. We're getting ready to go into another quick break, but when we come back, we're going to tell you about how the mayor commissioned him to help with the Founding Fathers, Mr. Malone?
No, it's the D.C. Commission for Fathers, Men, and Boys. I've just been nominated to be on that commission. There will be 12 commissioners serving on that.
Don't give them too much. Don't give them too much. We're going to go into a break, and then when we come back, we're going to get into that more, and we're going to make sure they get your contact information so they can sign up with your organization. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You're logged on to the Leap of Faith show.
Hi, this is Christian comedian Tanya Lewis. Make sure you check out your girl at Anointed to Laugh. That's the number 2. And follow me on Facebook at Christian comedian Tanya Lewis. Stay logged onto the Leap of Faith network all day and every day for great inspirational music.
Welcome back to the Leap of Faith show once again with your host, Stubbs. I hope you enjoyed that quick break. Remember, folks, if you would like to become a sponsor of our podcast interviews, you can just email info@lofnetwork.com. And also, don't forget to log on to our 24-hour broadcast by logging onto the website and clicking Listen Live and listen to a great span of inspirational music from all across the country. We're getting ready to get back into my interview today with Mr. Franklyn Malone of the 100 Fathers Incorporated. When we left, we were talking about the 21st century fatherhood movement, and we were getting ready to get into another movement that Mr. Malone has been nominated by the mayor to be a part of. And that special event or movement that's coming up is the D.C. Commission for Fathers, Men, and Boys. Mr. Malone, explain a little bit more about that to our listeners and get us informed on what that is going to be.
Well, as we traveled around the nation, I speak all over the nation on fatherhood and what needs to happen with our young men and fathers, that they can be transformed and that we can save our community. While looking at some other states, we noticed that some had commissions where they didn't have to go after funding. The funding was already set for them to be able to have programs and services for their young men. So I commissioned my men to write up the legislation. We gave it to a man known as the late Marion Barry. Marion Barry took that information to the city council and introduced it in 2013 as the 2013 Fathers, Men, and Boys Act. And Mayor Bowser is now currently appointing members of this commission, which will look at how we can save our fathers, men, and boys with services, supports, and opportunities. And so I've been nominated. I just got a letter a week ago from the mayor, and I've been nominated to serve the city on that commission. And I'm honored, and I'm humbled.
And I know that you're going to do a good job. Since I met you over at the Men Aiming Higher brunch that they had, you know, you came over to the table. I had the opportunity to meet your grandchild and your lovely daughter, beautiful. And your wife came along with you, and you just came in with your nice spirit, and you were so friendly and open and welcome. And I'm so honored to have you on the show to talk about all the wonderful things that you're out doing, not only in the community but nationally, and getting some support for our fathers because they need it. So it's an honor to have you on the show, and it's great to have someone like you out in the community caring and sharing and loving upon our fathers out here because they need that support. I want to let our listeners know about some events that you have coming up and also some of your upcoming speaking engagements and how people can come out and support you and your organization.
First of all, our website is www.100fathersinc.com. 100fathersinc.com. We're the 100 Fathers, Inc. We're also partners with the group National Partnership for Community Leadership, Dr. Jeffrey Johnson. And they're sponsoring in June the 17th Annual International Fatherhood Conference in Philadelphia from June 9th to the 12th. You can go online at www.npclstrongfamilies.com and take a look at that. But I will be representing D.C. on a panel with leaders from around the country talking about the 21st century fatherhood movement and what we need to be doing now under the Obama years, how we can get funding to make the change and turn the corner, bringing fathers back into the lives of their children and families. Also on May the 6th, I'll be addressing 165 congregations in Montgomery County at the Caregivers Conference. At that conference, I will lay out how congregations can get involved with helping fathers to get back into the lives of their children and families. For so long, we've forgotten about the importance that fathers make. Sure, you can make a mistake, but you can also be transformed, redeemed, and changed. And I have men who are trained to help men to make that transformation. And so we train people to train. We train the trainers. And so we're certified master fatherhood trainers. And we're licensed and certified. People thought it was a joke when we were starting out. Now everybody wants what we got. They fly in from all over the nation to get this training. As a matter of fact, one of the top fatherhood programs in the nation is in St. Louis, operated by Halbert Sullivan, who is also a master fatherhood trainer. And he has trained over 2,000 fathers and had 800 successes. And we use the same curriculum. So hope springs eternal.
Now, Mr. Malone, do you have an email address that you would like to leave our listeners with so they can reach out to you as well?
Absolutely. They can reach me at THE100FathersCEO@yahoo.com.
Okay. Y'all make sure y'all reach out with, speak to Mr. Malone about the 100 Fathers Incorporated. Remember, log on to their website at 100FathersInc.com. Sign up, donate, get involved with the 21st Century Fatherhood movement, and send him an email. I'm pretty sure he'll be open to answer any questions that you may have and volunteer with this organization. Mr. Malone, before we go, I like to always ask my guests to leave our listeners with something to inspire them. But for today, I want you to speak specifically to the fathers listening to this interview.
Thank you for that opportunity. And I'm going to have to go to the Word on that, because a lot of times we overlook the Word, and the Word has set up the father as the cornerstone of the family. And that's never going to change, folks. The Father is the cornerstone, just like Christ is the cornerstone of the church. And so we have to make sure that the family is intact. And if it's not intact, you can have a father figure. But in the Word, in Proverbs, it says, and the Father is the glory of his children. That means he's the divine presence in the lives of his children and family. Now, I don't know who these people are you've been looking at on TV with these big chains and their pants falling down, but that is not me. Fathers that I work with, we're real men who care about our children, who change diapers, who buy food, who care for our families and love them. The latest research found that black fathers are some of the most caring fathers in the world.
Hello, world. This is Mama Stubbs. Thanks for supporting my daughter radio station. Make sure you continue to stay logged on 24 hours a day to the Leap of Faith Network at www.lofnetwork.com.